We're just going to wait a minute or so, but today we're going to talk about you are the creator of your legacy. Yes, that's right. You and only you are the creator of your legacy. Tanvi saying hi. Hi Tanvi, how are you? Welcome back. And while you're waiting, for any of you that already know, my name is Sahil Mehta and I have a framework called the Break Free Framework, which I've also written a book about. So if you enjoyed today's session, or if you've heard me before, make sure you sign up for the foundation course, which you can join if you go to my website and enter your email address, and you'll get 5 videos over 5 weeks, which are going to take you through 5 elements, which is mind, body, people, and the material world, as well as money, and how you can break free from the bondage you have to these things. What's the goal? The goal is ultimately to break free. All right, we're seeing a few more people joining in. I'm just going to wait one more minute. Be ready to ask your questions as well. We're going to make this section interactive. But as I mentioned, we're going to talk about creating your legacy. So just curious how people are today. How are you feeling? You know, if you any comments, I would love to know your current status. You know, how are you feeling right now? Share that in the chat box. Pulkit has joined. Welcome. Great to have you here. All right, so let's begin. You know, before I start on you are the creator of your legacy, let's first talk about some of the excuses. You know, growing up and in the earlier part of my career, when things didn't go right, I'd blame it on other people, right? I'd be like, it's because of him, it's because of her, it's because of the government, it's because of the country, it's because of this, it's because of that. And I would always push it on someone else. You know, I rarely ever took responsibility of myself. So the first thing I want to highlight here is that you are responsible for yourself, right? In everything in life, you have a choice, right? You have a choice. Now, it may not be an easy choice, but you do have a choice. The question is, are you willing to make it? Are you clear on what you want to, you know, what your legacy, what you want your legacy to be? Have you even thought about your legacy? So again, you know, something that I write in my journal is, I have the power to change my life for the better, to get it right and get the desired results. The key word there is I. Okay, so you are in charge of your legacy. So I ask you again, what is the legacy you wish to leave behind? Again, earlier in my career, I was focused so much on accumulation of things, material things. You know, I've got to buy another watch, I have to buy this fancy car, I have to, you know, travel in business class everywhere I go, I've got to buy a big house. But what am I going to leave behind when I'm not around? Are people even going to remember that? That, you know, oh, this is the man who had 3 lovely watches and 2 nice cars and a big house with 6 bedrooms. Probably not. So again, what is it that you want to leave behind? Have you thought about it? You know, what's the impact that you want to create? It's not about taking, it's all about giving, right? Because think about it, all the amazing memories that you have. Do you remember who the top 10 richest people in the world are? You might know a few of them. Do you remember the most successful companies over the last decade? Yeah, again, you might be able to remember a few. But can you remember all the people that have had a huge impact on your life? Yes. Whether it was a teacher, a parent, a friend, a complete stranger that you met, you know, when you were at that junction in your life. So ask yourself again, who are the people that are making impact on you? That's how you're going to remember them. Because it's not about what someone did, it's about how someone made you feel. So again, ask yourself, what is the legacy I want to leave behind? And for who? Is it for my kids? How do I want them to remember me? How do I want my family to remember me? How do I want my colleagues to remember me? How do I want the world to remember me? And that's when I realized through my journey that, when I had this constant desire to accumulate things, what for? Because I have everything I need, right? The needs are the necessities in life. I have clothing, I have shelter, I have food. That's it. These are my needs, my basic needs. Everything else was a want, was a desire. And that's when I said to myself, okay, I can't take any of these things with me, but I want to leave something behind. I want to leave something behind and continue to create impact even after I'm gone. And that came in the form of a book. That came in the form of my presence on the internet, my digital footprint, if you will. When someone searches your name, what do they see? Is it just a profile on social media with all these selfies, poses in different places, just focusing on some of their happy moments? Or are they seeing who you are as a person and what you represent and what you can leave behind? Is it something where you're afraid of judgment and hence you're only posting things you want, what others might want to see? Or is it things that you want to put out there that represents you, because you're an amazing human being, you're a beautiful soul? So what is the legacy that you wish to leave behind? I was very clear in my early days, it wasn't material wealth. It's what's the impact I can create on the world. And that's where I wrote the book, and that's why I do what I do now, which is to share with all of you the tools and rituals that I've applied in my life that are making a difference. But I switched from taking, the mentality of taking, to the mentality of giving, because I wanted to make an impact on people's lives, and not just people I know, on anyone, on the world, on strangers, on people who need it the most, on people who don't need it, on anyone. So ask yourself again, what is the legacy I wish to leave in the world? What can I create? Because I've been given this gift, I've been given this opportunity where I can give back. And for all of you that have the ability, through intelligence, through monetary means, through time, to be able to give more, wow, what a blessing. Because many people don't have that option. There are people who don't have money to live easy, right? They're living on the streets. There are people who are not getting meals on the table. There are people who just simply don't have the time because they're in the rat race, always wanting more. But what keeps us different as humans is we have intellect. We don't just have a mind and a body like animals do. We have intellect. And it's not the same as intelligence. And this is something that I learned from one of my gurus, I would say, Swami Parthasarthi. And he says that, you have a lot of intelligent people that do things that show that they don't have the intellect. And a great example that was given is, imagine if you're diabetic and you should not be having sweets, but secretly every day, even though your family have told you no, you're going into your drawer or telling someone to buy it for you, or you're going out and buying it yourself and you're eating sweets every day. Essentially, you're digging an early grave, right? So where's the intellect? You're an intelligent person, but yet you're doing something that's a big question mark. So let's use this ability to create impact. And the impact doesn't have to be huge. It's not about how can I change the lives of millions of people. Let's start with one. Whose life can I make a difference to? How can I serve someone else? Especially if we look at the law of karma, it's all about giving with no expectations in return, no monetary, no publication of it. There are people who give lots of money to charity and they want their name on the placard. They want to the whole division is the building is named after them, etc., etc. But what about giving with nothing in return, no expectations whatsoever? Because that's when you also get. You know, I had a wonderful session with my coach earlier today where she said that her coach, her spiritual coach, said every time he gave, he said thank you. And you might ask, why do you say thank you? He was saying thank you because every time he gave, without anything, asking for anything in return or wanting anything in return, he knew that the law of karma meant that something good would happen to him. And so he would say thank you. So again, what is the impact that you can leave on this world, on one person, on one village, on one township, one city, one country, one continent, one anything? And how do you want to be remembered? Once you're clear on how you wish to be remembered, who do you need to be today to take one step towards that? Who do you need to be tomorrow to take one step before, in that direction? In my case, I realized that my purpose in life and the legacy that I want to the legacy that I want to leave on this world is one of peace. I want to be known as the person who spread peace, who spread the message of nonviolence. Now, if I want to spread the message of nonviolence, I have to live nonviolence. So what are the thoughts that are going on in my mind? Are they violent thoughts? Am I thinking ill of someone else? Because if I am, that's not living with authenticity. So I start becoming more aware of myself, that who do I need to be? What actions do I need to take in order to leave behind the legacy which is in line with my purpose? So when I'm having a thought that's violent, I ask myself, where is it originating from? How can I process it and evolve to reduce the level of these thoughts in my mind? If I speak foul words to someone, that's not living in line with my legacy. So once my legacy is clear, it also helps me to live life and be who I'm supposed to be in order to be remembered that way. So again, leaving the legacy also, it determines how and what actions and how you need to be every single day. So to summarize what we just spoke about, we first spoke about you are responsible for yourself. Let's stop putting the blame on others. We have a choice. It may be a difficult choice, but it is our choice to make. Second, what is the legacy that you wish to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? The best way to think about it is, what is the speech that would be given at your funeral, your obituary? It might be a good idea actually to write your own. That this is who you are, how you wish to be remembered. And once that is concluded, what steps do you need to take every single day to be that person which is in line with your legacy? And every time you get caught off guard in thought or action, be more aware and say, is this in line? Why is this happening? What is the source and how do I overcome it and process it so now it's more in line with my legacy? And I can tell you, I'm far from perfect. I still lose my temper, but I'm a lot more aware. And now every time that I do, I ask myself, is that in line with spreading peace? No. So what can I do so that this happens less often? So I hope you've enjoyed this talk on you are the creator of your legacy. I'm now open for questions. And while you're thinking of those questions to type in the chat box, remember I come on Insta Live every single Sunday at 6 p.m. And for those who've enjoyed this session and are aware of the Break Free Framework, I encourage you to go to the website www.sahilmehta.com, where you can sign up for a 5-week complimentary Break Free Foundation course, where you're going to get one video every week for the next 5 weeks. So over to you. I'm open for questions before we wrap up. A lot of people joined a little late today. Don't worry, it's going to be online soon. We are recording this and it will be available for you to watch. Okay, one question posted. I want to be remembered as a writer. Any tips? So if I share my own writing journey, it's like climbing a mountain, right? I'm a mountaineer, and one of the things I always tell people, if you focus on the summit, it sounds like it's hard, it's really big, right? You're like thinking, oh my goodness, it's so far away and it looks like it's really hard. So I would say that start with, what are you passionate about? Ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What does the world need? And what are you good at? Because everyone has some talent, and what's yours? And even if you feel that, there's not much you can write about, think about it this way. There's some people out there who look at you and say, wow, she or he is many steps ahead of me. I wish I could have the tools to help me to get to that step, for that stage. Yes, you might have many people that you look up to, but don't forget there are many people that are looking up to you as well. So you have something to share. And it's not about how many books you sell. I remember when I was thinking about, what if I don't sell many books? As long as I impact one person, that does justice. Because guess what? On Amazon, I actually found out if you sell one book, you're in the top 50% of sales. So I can say now that I'm in the top 50% because I have sold more than one book. But what are you good at? What are you passionate about? And what does the world need? And if anything, just write your story. And just put pen on paper, start writing it. Think about, put a blueprint together. Just how when you build a house, you don't just start laying the bricks. You put a plan in place. So start putting a plan in place and ask yourself, okay, what do I want to write in chapter 1? How do I want to open? How do I want to close? And just start writing and set yourself mini goals, right? Today, I just want to write one chapter. I don't have to worry about writing the whole book because that sounds, it's too much. But I'm happy to write one page at a time. So that's what I would give you as my tips on starting to write a book. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What does the world need? And if anything, if you can't figure that out, just write your journey because everyone has something to share that someone else is looking up to. Devna, hello. And the second point I would say regarding the book is put together your blueprint and then start writing bit by bit. It's not about, oh my God, I have to finish this whole book, too much work, one chapter. That's it, one at a time. Any other questions on you are the creator of your legacy? Bela says, thank you. Absolutely my pleasure. I see you on every week. Such an honor. I'm so humbled that you're joining us and taking precious time out to join us on this Insta Live every Sunday at the same time. So once again, thank you all for your time. That was a wonderful session. I wish you an amazing rest of the day on this Sunday, and I shall see you next week.